say your opinion.
Fine.
Right. So, thank you for joining me today. And to start off, I'd like to ask you some, start questions.
Sure. Okay.
In 5 years' time, I see myself.
In 5 years' time, I see myself out of university, in straight headfirst into my career. Obviously after a gap year, because I need that. I need the sort of a stress buster in the sense that a gap year is probably the best way for me to do that.
Yeah. And the most surprising thing that's ever happened to you
is when I think I was 6 or 7 years old. I think this was in a ditch somewhere in Essex. I think during my primary school we did a lot of cross country, so it was really muddy on a cold day. Just running through the ditch, doing whatever. And then I stopped to tie my shoelaces, and then and then there was a thorn bush just behind me, right down into the ditch. And as I was running, I think one of the kids, they tripped into my left leg, and unsurprisingly, I lost balance, and then I ended up falling into the thorn bush. Surprising, but very painful.
Yeah, really painful. Okay. So Bridge Academy, you go to Bridge Academy?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Correct.
Why did you choose to attend Bridge Academy Sixth Form?
I chose to attend Bridge Academy Sixth Form because I felt that, for all of its, dare I say, mediocrity, it has a lot of potential to become, something better, especially for ourselves and the future. It's not just the potential that it has, familiarity and whatnot. Obviously, is a reason for why I chose the bridge. And dare I say, I didn't really see myself at the end of this.
So how would you say school is going for you so far?
Right now, in terms of school, I'm trying to take it, as every step, every little step, as it comes. I'm not trying to take things in big chunks, whether it be with maths or with physics, trying to balance anything else in school with my personal life. I've only really just started to get, ahead on that. It's sort of, I think the half term that has just come along sort of really now kick-started my sixth form life.
Yeah. So this is your 6th year at Bridge Academy?
Yes.
So would you say that Bridge Academy is like a second home for you? Or not? Why?
I wouldn't go as far as to say that. The second home, you have to look at what home entails, and a home is somewhere where you can do whatever you feel like, obviously under boundaries, but at the same time you won't feel pressured, or you won't feel unsafe to ask for anything that you may need in terms of learning, in terms of just furthering your knowledge. It's a great place. Actually, is a second home in terms of that, because you can go to the teachers. Not to say that they're dependable, but they are always there and ready to help. Just in terms of a second life, a second home, sorry. In terms of moving around, in terms of just being at the academy, I think it's an entirely different kettle of fish.
So let's say in cases of
Don't drop it.
Excuse me, why?
You did pause.
Okay, so in terms of the school being familiar, you say that it is like a second home.
Yes.
So that's good. Well, speaking of home, how many brothers and sisters, well, if you're okay with, giving that information, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
7. So that's seven siblings, 3 brothers, 4 sisters. Yes, 4 sisters.
So, where do you think you stand amongst your siblings? I'm not saying that you are more important or less important than others. Obviously, you're all very equal to your parents, but where do you see yourself as, kind of relevant?
In sort of like, not a hierarchy, but just relevance in general.
Just relevant.
That's a very good question. Yeah, it's interesting because as the 5th and youngest, it's very easy for me to be perceived as the middle child, but in actual fact, I feel like a sort of, you know, observer around amongst my family at times, but then other times when I'm right in the thick of, you know, the jokes and, you know, the good times and, you know, inevitably the bad times, you know, it's yeah, it's also good because I feel as if in my family I'm referred to in certain points of action and certain, if they really, you know, need any help with anything, like due to, you know, my perceived intellect, I guess, in academics.
Yeah. So because of that, you know, there's a lot of siblings. You have a lot of siblings in your family, and you feel like you're in a very good ground in your family, right? But do you ever feel at some points either slightly ignored or intimidated by the success of other siblings, or even maybe by other siblings, maybe younger? You ever feel like you're looked up to by some siblings? Do you ever feel pressured in some sort of way, or that responsibility, or a lack of, you know, attention?
Pressured, in a sense, only to do the bare minimum, because, you know, what's life without a bare minimum? If you haven't got a bare minimum, then, you know, there's no point in even trying to succeed. You know, because I have the bare minimum, you know, I know where I stand. So anywhere else I go from there, whether it be forwards or backwards, would be of, you know, my own choice, not of theirs. Obviously, the expectation because of that, if I do have that mindset, the expectation of because of that will be, you know, sky high. But it's something that I've grown accustomed to, I guess. And just because of the fact that, you know, my older siblings, there are 4 of them have been there and they have done that, so they, you know, more or less expect me to take it all in the same stride, if not better.
And one final question. Do you ever, well, have you ever imagined life as, say, an only child? Because you have a lot of brothers and sisters. So have you ever thought of what it would be like if you were an only child?
Life as an only child would be, dare I say, it would be really, really interesting. I think life as an only child, I wouldn't be the person that I am now, but at the same time, yeah, I have to look at that and I have to think, you know, is that really a good thing? Is that really a bad thing? You know, there are different ways to weigh it up. You know, for example, I could be, and you could look at, you know, being an only child as a bad thing, as, okay, you haven't really got that much connection, you might be isolated all the time. But then you can look at, you know, you can look at it as quite a good thing, whereas, you know, you have that privacy, you have that space, at the same time you have that leeway with your parents that you possibly never really could if you have, you know, if you have a lot of siblings. So yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Completely different question to what we just asked, but, you know, it helps me a lot when I'm trying to, you know, find out the type of person that someone is. If you were a dog, you know the breeds of dogs, right?
So,
okay. If you were an animal, any animal in the animal kingdom, which animal would you be?
I'd be a dog.
Why would you be a dog?
Because they're domesticated, so obviously people are used to them, people are brought up to dogs, and also they say that a dog is a man's best friend, and so maybe because of their loyalty, because they're always there for a person, a human being, they have so much respect and, you know, honor for their master. And I'm not saying that I'm under some other people, you know, yes, authority and under authority and respect people. Yeah, but I see myself as a dog more in cases of in friendships and relationships with other people. So I see myself as that kind of loyal person that's always there when you need them,
Yeah.
but only if someone's super close to me. So yeah,
That's brilliant.
yeah. Well, thank you, Aditya.
No problem.
No problem.
Yeah.